Hello, ladies. Good evening. I had an idea to learn with you a book that I really wanted to learn myself. And I had this idea for quite a long time, and I thought to every evening just to send a short video learning it together. And I chose a book that is called Chovat HaLevavot. And if I try to translate it, it means the obligation of the heart. It's probably a bad translation. I'm hoping that it's not too far. And if this learning could be in the merit of my nephew, Eitan Emmanuel Ben Shira, he's now in the hospital and he might be going, he's very little, he's like 2, and he might need surgery, so that would be good. Okay, so this book basically talks about, I'm going to explain exactly what it talks about. I'm going to go with you very slowly. But at the beginning of the book, the author actually, he explains, this rabbi, he explains why he wrote this book. And he says that if you take the entire Torah and you try to divide it into two, you have two different kinds of Torot, two different kinds of wisdoms. You have Chovat HaEvarim, which means, if I try to translate it, it's like the obligation of our body. And he has also Chovat HaLevavot, which is the obligation of our heart. Which means if we try to see all the mitzvot that Hashem gave us, so most of them, are mitzvot that are related to things that we do with our bodies, how we daven, or we keep Shabbat, or we eat kosher, or whatever we do, something we do with our bodies. And there's Chovat HaLevavot, which means the obligation of the heart, things that are mitzvot, that we have to do, but they're not something you actually do with your physical body. It's something that is in your heart. And that he says that if you try to see it, all the different mitzvot that are related to our bodies, they mostly are divided into two groups. Some of them are things that are logical, and even if we wouldn't have had the Torah, we would have done them, or hopefully. For example, you shall not kill. This is probably a bad translation, but you know what I mean. Or that we shouldn't steal, or that we should respect our parents. These are logical things. But also we have things that are not logical. We wouldn't have thought about them on ourselves. For example, separating meat and milk, or Shabbat. These are not things that we would have just imagined or came up with on our own. And he says that things that are related to the obligation of the heart, these are all logical things. These are all things that we can understand on our own, and that we will learn it in the future exactly how. And another thing, he said that the same way that all the mitzvot are divided to mitzvot things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do, also the obligation of the heart, the mitzvot that are related to things that are in our hearts, they're also divided this way. For example, we have things that we should do. For example, have trust in Hashem and love Hashem and have faith. These are all things that we should do. And on the other hand, we have things that we shouldn't do. For example, lo tikon velo tito, which is the mitzvah that says that you should not hold grudge against your fellow Jew, even if he did something wrong. And you shouldn't keep in your heart bad feelings towards another Jew. And he saw that he was a very great rabbi. I hope you know him. He's called Rabbeinu Bechaye. He was an amazing person. Maybe one video we'll do only about him. It was many years ago that this book was written, and he said that he learned so much, and he didn't see any book related to these mitzvot. And he said there are books related to halacha, like halachic things, rules, what to do, when to do in different situations, or things that are books that are related to learning the psukim, the different things in the Torah on different levels. And he didn't see anything that is related to the obligations we have to our heart. And he thought to himself, okay, maybe it's not something that we have to do. Maybe it's something that if we want to, it's better, or it makes us better people, but we won't be punished not doing it. Is it really part of the Torah, or is it more like a recommendation? So he checked, and he saw that it's not only that it's something that we are really obligated to do according to the Torah, it's something that if we're lacking, if we're missing something of it, it's not only hurting this specific mitzvah, it affects our entire Jewish life. It affects also the obligation of our body. For example, if a person davens or keeps Shabbat or does whatever, but it doesn't have faith, it changes. Like, it changes every single mitzvah that you do. It changes if you have faith, or if you don't. It matters for every single mitzvah. So he says this is the most fundamental thing of Judaism, and there isn't a book about it. People are not really learning it, and this is why he decided to write this book. And I think this is something that I would very much enjoy learning, and I would very much enjoy it if you learn with me. Thank you, and I hope that you get this video, and that maybe you'll write me a message or something, and I'm trying to get to everyone, but it's very, very hard. So if once in some time I'll hear something from you, I'll very much enjoy it. Thanks. Good evening.